Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be reviewing the manga known as Berserk, which centers around the dark swordsman known as Guts. Uh, Berserk is such a long, great series that it's really hard to choose like a true beginning point, because where it starts off in the manga is when we find this mysterious dark swordsman figure walks into a tavern, and he messes up these two guys, right? He beats the crap out of them, and we notice something strange about him, like he's missing an arm and he's missing an eye, right? And it goes into him fighting, wanting to fight an apostle in that town and everything. And apostles are pretty much demons that have a tremendous amount of power, and they're able to change their forms, and they pretty much eat humans and stuff. But the unique thing about apostle is, like, any human could become apostle if they sacrifice what is most precious to them. And they also they have to be chosen by a special device known as a Bailey. It acts as a key to activate the transformation into apostle. And before I continue, I have to say the series sounds like a mystical thing, but it begins as a regular medieval type of fighting series, right? All right, no, this is where it begins. All right, Guts, the main character, is born in a horrible situation. His mom is pretty much plagued with some type of virus, and he's born out of her on the ground, in muddy ground. And from day one, Guts has always been a struggling protagonist. He's always gone through life with no ease at all. He has to fight for everything. From there, his mom dies from the illness, and his supposed father, when he's younger, sold him off to some weird, some pedophile, and the guy rapes him, right? The main protagonist in this series gets raped. But Guts later kills that guy, and he unfortunately had to kill his own father too. He said it's unfortunate because he didn't want to, but he was forced to kill him because he had to defend himself. The series goes on. Guts becomes a mercenary, right? As a young teenager, he goes around just fighting, like, supposing the best knights ever, and just taking out those guys, beating the best of the best and everything, until he encounters his future arch nemesis Griffith, right? But ironically enough, when he first met Griffith, they became best of friends, right? Griffith is the first person to actually beat Guts in an actual deal, and Guts pretty much swore loyalty to him until he was able to beat him. Now, Guts was influenced by Griffith's dream as well, because in a sense Griffith wanted to become the king of the land. You know, he wasn't born into wealth and stuff, but when he was younger, he had his fortune read to him, and he was told that he will be a great king, you know, and that stayed with him. And also, I guess, coming from a life of poverty and stuff, you know, you would want better for yourself. And Griffith had a captain by the name of Casca, right? This beautiful young girl who traveled everywhere with him. Now, back then, Casca didn't like Guts at all. She hated him, actually, as a matter of fact. But as time grew, they grew together, right? And, you know, also as she realized Guts respects her, so as a woman, also as a fighter and everything, you know, they grew to care for each other and everything. Now, where their friendship got kind of haywire and things started to drift apart is when Griffith was captured because he did something he wasn't supposed to do, which I'm not going to say because you guys really need to check out the series. And he was captured and he was tortured. And in that time when he was tortured for a couple of years. And in that time, Guts and Casca grew really close, and they became intimate, right? And if you watch the series and stuff, Griffith was a pretty boy, but when they found him again, he was disfigured beyond recognition. It was horrible. They tortured the crap out of him. They damaged his body beyond recognition, and Griffith became hateful, resentful towards Guts and Casca, especially because he realized they were in a relationship together and everything. And in his highest point of you know, being depressed and everything, the Bailey was activated, and this is when the series changed from like being regular into a mystical one, right? But sorry, there's so many things that happen in the series. It's so awesome. But like something before that happened. It had this guy, right? This unbeatable monster known as Zod, right? That when Griffith was still normal, he was still like healthy and everything. He and Guts faced off against him, and uniquely enough, this guy killed everyone but Guts and Griffith because he was like, "You two are the only two mortals as I have ever struck that," and they still stood, right? So obviously Zod, for some strange reason, had a upper hand against them, but they didn't know why at the time. And then Zod was about to kill Griffith, and he was like, he realized who he was. He was like, "Wait a minute," and he was like, "Guts, for surviving this battle with me, I'll tell you something. If you stay with this man, you will die," right? So he warned him. But anyway, flash forward back to where I was. Griffith went in his most at the height of his depression. The ability he had and was given to him when he was younger was activated, and it allows you to get your wish granted at the cost of what is most precious to you. And at the time, what was most precious to Griffith was his friends who was helping and supporting him. And he sacrificed every one of those guys who saved him from being tortured and stuff. Every last one of them got sacrificed for Griffith to become a god, right? This is where the manga goes from being regular to twisted and evil. Because here we watch characters we got to know and love get ripped apart, slaughtered, and we watch Casca get brutally raped, right? Guts was forced to watch this happen while losing his eye and his arm. And you really feel for him at this point because, the writer does a brilliant job in this series because when you read it, it's like you can see Griffith and Guts had a true friendship, but then everything is torn apart in that instant. And I can't tell you why or how, but Guts is saved from that part. But he bears the mark of the sacrifice, him and Casca. She is saved too, but she goes crazy because of the events that happened there. And Guts is on a hell-bent mission to get the power required to fight and defeat Griffith. The series takes a bunch of dark, twisted turns and plots that it'll make your head spin. And the unique thing about the series is that it starts off really like sad and stuff, and there's some light moments, but then it gets really dark, and then it just gets twisted, right? By the time you read and reach where I'm at in the series, you'll be like, "What the hell, boy? It's such an awesome series." But the bad guy, this is one villain you really want to see suffer because of how twisted it was. It had this one scene in the manga where Guts finally meets up to Griffith again in the snowfield, and he's like, "Griffith!" He's like, "Why did you do what you did to us?" Right? And Griffith was like, "Well, I don't know what to say. I needed to become, king. I need to get more powerful." It just was so awesome. Like Guts was like, he didn't even let them finish. He's like, "Yeah," just transforming. And the cool thing, the animation, the drawing, the artwork in the manga is so awesome. The way how his face looked when he was like, he saw Griffith again, he's like, "Griffith!" And he just got down, and you saw his eye glow. Because when Guts gets infuriated, his one eye glows now. It's just badass. And he comes with his sword, but Zod, the same guy who warned him, protected Griffith. It was, oh my god. If you haven't read Berserk, you have been missing out. But be warned, if you start reading this manga, it is not done yet. And it takes like 3 to 4 months for a new chapter to come out. So if you start reading this, you will not finish it. And hopefully the writer in our lifetime finishes the series, but he writes so slowly that it's a torture to read the manga because the manga is really long, so you will have a long ways to go. But odds are you're not going to be able to put it down when you start reading it. It's a great series, one of the best series I've ever read in my entire existence. Right? It makes One Piece, Naruto, freaking Hitman Reborn, all those greats look like subpar. Not because of the animation stuff, because Berserk has great animation, especially manga. The manga is top notch, but it's just the fighting. The fighting is like it's on a whole nother level to any series I've ever read. The fighting is epic. The story is deep. It's twisted. It is intricate. It is so much detail that goes into this series. The series started like somewhere in the 1980s, pretty much. So the writer had time to develop the story and everything into what it is today, you know. But man, just be warned. If you start reading it, it's like crack cocaine. You're not gonna stop, and then you're gonna be mad at me because I told you to read it because it's a great series. But then you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I'm done, and then I have to wait another 3 to 4 months for another chapter, and then you're gonna be mad at me. So I'm just warning you: if you start reading Berserk, you're not gonna be able to put it down, and then you're gonna be mad when you realize, oh my god, it's not complete. But if you do read it, you're gonna enjoy the hell of it. It's one of the best series I've ever read. So you guys read. If you read Berserk, tell me what you think about it. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. All right, you guys take care. Peace.